And there it is really an etzem, because it comes together with the person. As soon as he's born, you have to give him a name.
That's because he's a presence.
Because he's a presence.
Right. He cannot. It doesn't work. Not. He has to have a name.
That's right. He has to have a name. He doesn't have a name before he is born. It's interesting. I mean, all Minhagi Yisrael are very profound. We don't even discuss a name before the child is born. Because if you discuss a name before he's born, you're talking about what I would like. The kid is not here yet. He's not real. When he is born, you say, oh, you have to give him a name. That's when you start talking about a name.
And the 8 days.
What?
And the 8 days.
I'm sorry.
And the 8 days in between the birth and the name.
Oh, because when he has a bris. When is he a real person? After the bris. And the girl is at the moment when she's born. But at birth, because his presence demands the naming, not your, oh, I got a kid, I have to give him a name. That's child's play. That's not the real thing.
Also the uptouch and presence.
Okay, everybody understand the question here?
Translation of the Yiddish.
What translate the word presence? Translate it in concept. What is the concept of presence? What does it mean it's a presence?
It's that he exists. This that he exists in reference to his surroundings, that he's an existence. As per everything else around him, he is an existence. My question is,
No, wait a second.
Oh.
Your colleague is
Okay.
okay. There is significance to his question. Presence means that it exists. Everything is a presence. Asmus doesn't exist.
No,
Do we believe in God? Everybody?
no, but it's a duality. On one hand, he exists for himself, but yet also in reference to the world around him. They have significance. So it has a dual function.
Fine, Ruben. Why is that called presence? And that which exists himself is not called presence.
Because present defines what's presence. I'm present in class. Is insult present? Yes, I'm present. Then also interrelatedness to the environment.
Why?
Because
that is his question. Why is that specifically presence? I'm present to myself. I'm also present.
Because man's existence present has to have an impact upon the world. So it's a steer Renee Bay, as they say I'm an existence but irrelevant to the world around me. Because in Yadut, in Chassidus, the existence of man, his function is to dir tachtonim. So that's his definition. To say that he has an existence in terms of terminology in Chassidus is.
And if I do not have an effect, I don't exist.
It shows you're not perhaps living out your potential, but you still exist.
So that's what he's asking. Why is presence dependent on your definition?
Okay.
We spoke, and we have continued to speak about, because eventually it will become clear that the difference between Mitzias and Mahus. What is the difference between Mitzias and Mahus? So Mahus, this is something which Mahus Holocaust, forget it. Even on the Shomis, even on Atzilus does not understand Mahus Holocaust. Mitzias, they can understand. Mitzias, say the Quran. What's Mahus and Mitzias?
This is that Metzius is something that, because we perceive, it gives it existence. In contrast to Malhus, our perception is irrelevant. More than that, our perception doesn't give it its existence. Shekem Metzius is our perception of it makes it a Metzius. Otherwise, it serves no function.
All right. So here is the thing. The uniform Metzius is we have the following moshel that we used. It's all a moshel, but it's like a moshel. If we understand it, it gives us a good sense of it. When you enter this room and you see a table, you as a human being who knows what human life is, and you come into this room, you know that this is a human dwelling, and a table is part of a human dwelling. Therefore, when you notice the table, you do not notice the fact that the table occupies space. That's not how you get to know that there is a table here, because it occupies space. Because it obstructs your walk. You can't walk straight like this, you have to go around. That's not how you get to know, to notice the table. You notice the table because you notice a table. It's like a ruchnistic. Like I always say, I point out, the table is here. Will you think to move the table? Will it occur to you like to take this picture on the wall and move it someplace else? You will never even think of it, unless anybody doesn't have the human sensitivity, what we call an idiot. Nobody qualifies to be an idiot, not in our company. So he will not go and move the table, move the picture. He says, "Why am I doing? I'm just moving the picture. The picture doesn't care where it is. The wall doesn't care if it has a picture on it. That is not what you are observing. The wall and the picture. You're observing a human sense. And that's what you see. This is called mahus. Mahus means the essential reality of what there is. The essential reality of a lakus. There's absolutely no way to be known outside of a lakus. Like we point out always, the Rambam says, and we always ask the question, in our perception, in our thinking, and we are human beings with seichel talazah, what comes first, presence or not presence?
Not presence.
Not presence comes first, and into not presence comes presence. Why? Because our whole perception is after the tzimtzum that there was a cholol umokim ponui, and into das was nimshing. If there is presence comes after the non-presence. It's what present needs to be provided for. There should be a vacancy for it. Lemailo is the opposite. Motu rishon. The first thing is a presence. There is no way that we can relate or you can even make sense of it. Of course, we know that this is so, but there's no way we can relate to it. We know only because of logic, because of proofs, of logical proofs, intellectual proofs. But we cannot relate to the concept, the mahus. What kind of presence is it that is not preceded by non-presence? There's no way we can relate to it. That's called mahus. Metzius is like you said, except I wanted to hit the nail on the head, so to speak. Metzius is the pshat that first you know there is something there. And then you identify what that something is. How do you know that something is there? By virtue of its effect. By virtue that, like we say in Gashmius, this is how Gashmius, a material, is defined in the Gashmic world. Physics, in physics, how is material defined? It occupies space. That's how it's defined. It's not defined by virtue, by its reality. It occupies space, which means occupies space. The definition of occupies space is that nothing else can come into the place where I am. That's it. That's how I know it exists. And we always point out that this is such a short-sighted definition. It serves the purpose for physics, but it's a short-sighted definition because it's a reality. Like you have the question, how come, if that's all it is, how come you can destroy it? You can destroy matter. Every time of course you can destroy matter. Why? If all it is that it occupies space, poof, out. That's what Mitzias. So when you say, so this is Mitzias, I said in a more continuous level, but this is at a presence. A presence is that he exists prior to identifying what he is. So we're saying like this. Atzmus does not have Metzius. It is what he is. Hu mashahu. Onoichi misha onoichi. There is no Havaya, Shemelikim, Havaya have implications, have remozim. Onoichi has no remis. Onoichi masha onoichi. Atma does not have a presence.
The definition of presence was it exists before you identify what it is?
Yeah. It has an existence in addition to what it is.
What it is a subset of its existence. It has an existence different than separate than what it is.
I could hold.
Okay.
Remember the motion from the table?
But he sees that he doesn't see the.
Because we understand. See, that's what we spoke about the other day. Gashmis is something that we understand the mahus of Gashmis.
Yeah.
Not only the Metzias.
And what was the example of the Metzias? I don't think I just spaced out.
What
was the example of the Metzias that you used? Sorry.
It's hard to give him a show number in Gashmis because we have a sense of the Gashmis. I'll tell you what that means. A table in the showroom is a Metzias.
Okay, and Metzias has a presence.
It has a presence. It doesn't serve any purpose.
So
it's not there to display its presence.
It has a presence separate than what it is.
What it is.
What it is belongs in a shul.
Yeah, you project that if I take this Metzias and bring it to my home, it will be a table. In the showroom, it's not a table.
In your home, it doesn't have a presence.
In a home, it has a presence because in the Gashmi, but in a home, the presence is overwhelmed by its mahus. A cat will see the presence. A human being will see the mahus.
More than that, even as opposed to Hashem, before we see table before we define it in our own mind as mahus, it's a table. Initially, there are elementary components of the table. There's color, it's shape, it's four legs. So those are elementary components. And once we we take these elementary components and put them together, then we get to Tzmahus. So that's also different from
No. We work differently. We work the opposite way.
Really? Isn't the Mahus created for our experience?
No.
As a child, no?
What?
As a child, no?
We're going back to this. No.
No. Okay.
No. We relate to a table because our neshamas agree to a table.
Okay.
Not necessarily to this shape. Could be any shape. But the concept of the table is a human concept.
Okay.
As we said, there's much to speak about it, and I'm just putting out, it represents the Malchus element of the human being. And every human being has a Malchus element. It could be a table, beautifully ornated, and it could be just a rock in front of him. But something that serves him, and he occupies the space around it.
So we say Hashem does not have a presence because all He is what He is. All He is what He is. He doesn't have a presence because there's no separation between. There's no presence separate than what He is. Is that what? I missed this. I'm trying to fit this that you said about Hashem into the definition of presence. The presence has an existence separate than what than what you identify it is.
What it stands for.
What it stands for. So Hashem is all the Atzmus is what it stands is all it is. Doesn't stand for anything.
Not in the definitive way.
What element is missing from Atzmus that it cannot be called a presence? I mean, what element is not shaykh to Atzmus that it cannot be called a presence?
A presence has a limited presence, a limited reality. It's real because it's present. Atmos is not real because it's present. It's real because it's real. Amit is him also. This is what I'm pointing at. We are thinking of everything in terms of non-presence before presence. And there's no way that you can possibly understand the Elokus in that perspective.
So ingrained, I don't even know. I'm having trouble even figuring out what you're talking about in terms of.
I'm not talking about the Mahus of Elokus, I'm talking about the Metzius of Elokus, in contrast to our Metzius.
So what?
1 second. 1 and 1 is what?
2.
How do you know it's 2?
How do I know it's 2? It makes sense that it's 2.
Not because you count 1 on 1.
That was my first thought of the answer.
So, okay.
That's how I was trained to know.
That's how you were trained to think. Right? I want that you should understand that's not what 2 is. Because 1 and 1, as you count, is 1 and 1. 2 ones.
Right. I probably still have that.
1 and 1. No, it's very difficult to show you. I want you to think of the halacha that I always bring out to explain this principle. The halacha says that meiser behema, you don't take meiser. You get 100 newly born sheep. You don't take 10 of the sheep and say, this is meiser. It's not meiser, it doesn't become meiser that way. How do you take meiser behema? You bring them all a deer, bring them all into an enclosure, open up a narrow opening, and then drive them through this opening. And as they're running through this opening, you count them, 1, 2, 3. The 10th one, so you put a red marker on him, this is mice. Secret, that's a secret, a red marker. And that's the way it becomes mice. What happens in the opening, you miscalculate, the opening is slightly larger, and 2 come out, they come in 2s. What happens then?
2, 4, 6, 8, 10.
Is it Meiser or not Meiser? That's my point. The din is that you begin to count 1, double, 2, double, 3, double, 1, 2, 3. The 10th double is Meiser. Not interesting? And this is real Meiser. But this is selective. This is your human selection. This is not a natural process. Naturally, they don't have a shaykhus one to the other. They're individual sheep. So how you take Meiser by 2s?
What's the wonder here? That they walked through by 2s, and now you chose the 10th couple as my.
So you don't couple. Couple is your coupling, is your creation, is your choice.
Why is it your choice? It was the 10th group, the 10th pair to walk.
Yeah, but
through.
there is not natural. Is there a natural relationship between them? They're individual sheep.
In contrast to the first model where they walked single file.
Single file. Single file is single file is something which is you have no effect on it, right? It comes
You set it up and they kind of come.
They come one by one.
And
each sheep is an individual.
Fine, and here you set up a little wider, so now they're coming 2 by 2. So how's it my selection?
Because 2, the sheep are not 2. The sheep is an individual. So therefore, the 2 concept is like you choosing them. What's the difference between choosing 2 or choosing 10?
And the other way where you choose the 10th is not you choosing it?
No, it comes out. It comes out through the opening, and you count 1, 2, 3,
It's not
4.
choosing it because they're coming.
They're coming out.
No, they're coming out. I mean, I'm with you on this.
There's no. You have no effect
you
on it. You're not involved in this count.
Where by the first one they come in single file, so you're not involved. But by the second model they walk 2 by 2, you're also not involved. You count the 10th pair.
The concept of 2.
Yeah.
The concept of 2 is not a natural. You have 10, so to pick up 10, what's the difference?
Because you're choosing the 10. Which ones you want.
So this 2 also, the fact that you are coupling the 2 together is your couple, is your joining. There's not reality to it. They're one on one.
Because just because they ran out together,
They're not together. They're
who
kind
says
of,
they should be?
they're somehow related to each other. It's
Well,
one on
They're
one.
related since they both came out together.
That's right, but that doesn't make him that's one on one. 2 sheep, one on one.
So you should count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, one on one. I don't know how you can count. I mean, you have to go and throw them back in and start all over in single file. Was that clear? What?
Who said they related? What do you mean they're related?
Again, halach, you cannot take meiser by picking up
1 from 10.
1 from 10. That's not meiser. It has to come your way.
It should be the 10th.
What? It has to be, no, the 10. It has to come through. It has to come automatically. And you just count. You can't pick out. I have 10 sheep, pick up 1 or 3. You have to come, they have to come single file and you take 10. So I'm saying when they come in 2s, this concept that they are 2, there is a couple, this is l'choire, a human concept. This is not a natural concept. They're still individual sheep. So it's one on one. And the halacha says no. You can count them in 2s, you can count them in 3s.
And that 10th couple counts as 1 or counts as 2?
The 10th couple is meiser.
Oh, even though it's 2 sheep, now it's counting as an 8-10? Is that
No.
It's
1, 2, 3.
It's
Each
one
one is a
unit
couple.
because it's the
Yeah.
10th, so it's 1 unit.
It's 1 unit.
it's 1 unit?
The 10th couple is meiser. and you went through, you went to ultimately you went to 20 sheep, not 10 sheep, and the 10th couple is Meiser.
Okay.
So all the couples are one unit.
All the couples are new.
Each-
What does this tell you? That 2 is a real element. 2 is not 1 and 1.
I'm still, I guess I'm stuck with quantitative issue. Like you're trying to give 1/10, so here you had 20 sheep walk through, and you end up giving 1/10. So I'm stuck on this, like the quantitative.
1/10 is not Meiser.
It's not
Listen
tenth.
to what you're saying.
1/10
Listen to what I'm
is
saying.
not
1/10 is not
Why,
Meiser.
It's not
The
the dip.
tenth.
What?
1/10.
1/10 is not
Why?
Meiser.
That's what you have to give. 1/10 of your sheep.
No, but it's not Meiser.
What's that mean?
The tenth happens to be
The
1/10.
the halacha is if you take 1 out of 10 and say this is Meiser, it's not Meiser.
So 1/10 is not myself.
It's
It
not.
has to be.
It has to be the 10th as they come
Okay.
out.
Okay, so quantitatively you may think it was 1/10, but that's not it.
But
That's
that's
not
it. That's why I give you the whole thing.
Uh-huh.
This is the halacha. In the halacha, it tells you Poshet the Pashtus. This is not 1/10. It's the 10th. But this is not the 10th. This is the 20th.
Okay. I see. The way I'm thinking of it is that you want to get to 1/10. This is just how you get to 1/10. But that's not.
It's not the Meiser.
It's 19 and 20.
Who cares if it comes out 2? At the end of the day, the halakha.
Please, that's why I'm putting in the halacha. You have to understand halacha. This is mamash dvar Hashem. This is the 10th. It's not a 10th. It's 1/10, yes, but it's not the 10th.
Yeah, so using my terminology I used before is that the number 2 is no longer we no longer perceive 2 as a aggregate of complex elements. 2 in itself is
It's a reality. Right. Where does that come from? No lawyer.
That's not. That's not.
He's a jelly right now.
No, we struggle, but we get the sensitivity.
It's a
What
correlation.
can you show me is?
It comes from.
They have a correlation. These 2 have a correlation.
What's the correlation?
Comes from one source.
Okay,
What? Because that in itself, which the Abish, what they say what has no presence, he determines what has presence. The Abish determines via the halacha that this is considered 2. So halacha determines that it's one entity.
Okay, right. Halacha in terms of
It seems
how,
arbitrary.
on what basis? On what basis? What?
That seems arbitrary.
It's arbitrary. That's exactly what I'm asking. It's arbitrary. It's not Meiser. Meiser is not arbitrary. I wish I said be the 10th. And okay, so we went this far, so let's get into it. Let's understand what's behind it. How are No, come on.
No, because just like Hashem has no before and after, just like Hashem is not composed
My dear
of
friend,
components, it's simplicity.
we'll trace it back all the way to Atzmos.
Right.
But let's understand it how
Yes.
what we perceive it. It's very important to start. This is an expose. Now, if this is what does it, you have to think into the chokhmah, not go where is the chokhmah coming from, into etzem, into rotzen.
Right. Okay.
Chokhmah gives you an opportunity to create bina. Chokhmah is much closer. It's right there in front of you. You go into building the Tzias Nitza, and you're not going to get anything anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I mean, we had this before we started coming. He had a herd of sheep. I mean,
That's right. Pick out 10 and finished.
he got 10 and finished. No, but the chokhmah here is that these are a group. Two is that things correlate. It's not in the world. It's a chokhmah. That's the point.
No. The chokhmah, is
Yeah.
the halacha.
Right? And you're saying the expose is see inside yourself.
The halacha is the expose. This is the chokhmah.
Fine.
Now, if you want to understand this, you have to think into that. What does this tell you, and how come it makes sense to you? Bechol Estrecher, you're right here. Why are you calling me?
I can't hear it for long. I'm just joking.
Huh?
I'm just joking.
Good joke. You have such a humor.
Because just because it's not my, just look, okay, it's not their Metzias visa, my possession that's significant here. When I say 1 and 1 is 2, is meaning I see one object and the second object, I add them together to make 2. But again, analogous to the shame determines what's 1 and what's 2.
No. How is it 2? How is it Meiser? All I want is to understand how that we should try to make sense of the fact that it's Meiser.
Because the number 1 here means the number 1 determines its Metzias. That these two animals are considered 1.
Why?
Not my counting.
On what basis? Good,
Halacha.
good. On what basis?
Halacha.
Okay, what's behind that halacha? That's exactly what I'm trying to
Okay,
explain.
I don't know.
I'm using the halacha as a means to understand
What the common sense is?
these concepts. Amahus. 1 on 1, what's 2? 2 is not a physical concept, it's a mahus. It's a seichelic concept. Go ahead.
If you look at it as not as a quantitative concept, but a qualitative concept, there's 2 cups. Qualitative concept, this is 1 because it's going together. They're not different. It's from a qualitative component, not quantitatively, qualitatively. This is what I consider 1 group. And 2 is a second group quantitatively. So
Okay. We're moving in the direction, okay?
But what
Step in
gives
the
them
right
a
direction.
shaykhis?
Huh?
But what gives them a shaykhis that I see this as
Good
a,
question.
as a
They're
chivas?
both sheep, in other words.
What gives it the chivas?
because we're used to defining
relevance.
individuality quantitatively. Now we're giving a different
But
definition
what
to
gives
numbers.
these two as a megatonish?
Because we're used to using the numbers in terms of quantitatively. That's why we use numbers.
Okay,
Now
but
we're
he's
using
asking
definition of
qualitatively.
numbers.
Wow, what is their relationship? He's asking a question.
Each sheep
Because
is
they
not an
could-
individual
So
entity.
present-
They're part of a whole thing called sheep.
8, and it's a different way of counting.
Because they present to us. What
I
was
said
that? I'm sorry.
each sheep is not an individual entity. It's part of this group called
Right.
the sheep. They're all
A herd of sheep.
they're all
Not a herd of sheep.
They
Flock of
present
sheep.
to us.
sheep is
Not a
not.
flock of sheep.
Sheep
Sheep.
is not. They're not individual Metzias.
Sheep is a reality, a godly creation. The reason, I'll try to put it in simple terms, but I'll try to find. The reason there is 1 sheep is because there's 1,000,000 sheep. You understand that? Do you understand that?
Yeah.
The reason there is 1 cup is because there's 1,000,000 cups. No company produces 1 cup.
There's no one either.
The company perceived I can produce 1,000,000 cups. Let's go. Let's make 1 cup. 1 cup is representative of the 1,000,000.
Of the what?
Of the 1,000,000.
Of the million, right? Okay, good.
It's part of the meaning.
It's not part. It's representative. Part of the meaning is after the fact. Representative means these 2 sheep came into the world. They're related to each other. The reason there is 1 sheep that came into the world is because there is a second sheep also. And they're all for the same reason. They all come from the same source. From the
One
species,
oak.
from the species of sheep. This is where it all come from.
In that sense, why can't you just pick out any 10? They're all really related.
Because we don't want you to make the choice. They have to come out. You can make a choice. But when they come out in 2s, it's not your interference. It's not you who are correlating them into 2s. It's a reality. 2 sheep. Two sheep exist in the world for the very same reason that one sheep exists in the world. Exactly the same
The
thing.
halacha defines when they walk out together, then they're considered one.
That's right. No, that's when that's right. You're saying like this. There's one sheep coming out to that's a natural creation. Maybe created it. That's why it's one. No, two is also the same natural. It's exactly the same thing. This is to counter, pardon me, I always go back to this, the craziness of the evolutionary concept. That each thing created itself. If you think each sheep created itself, then there is no correlation between them. But it's one and one. But each sheep was not created itself. Each sheep was created by the Meibush and saying, you be a sheep. There should be the kind of this species, and therefore there's two sheep is one entity of the same entity. The two are the same entity of sheep. The same thing you point out at a much higher level. We have a million of people. If a million of people becomes a unit of 10, how are individual human beings? And the answer is that human beings, they represent, as I said, Meibash's presence in the world. And the Meibash's presence is represented even at a greater level when they're 10 together. What is a human being? He didn't evolve from a monkey. He did not create himself. This is something which is, without even applying it, this is how we think, unfortunately. That each individual person is himself. He is not. A person is a neshama, is a godly neshama. That's what a human being is. Not the sum of his experience and how developed and what he was exposed to. Like you said, you learned about a table when he was a child. Please, I know you're a psychologist. Understand, you have to answer these questions because in order to get your certificate, but that's not the reality you're dealing with. There's a human being, a human element, and I always point out, you show a child. I myself, Baruch Hashem, raised 7 children. I saw a child how to eat with a spoon. And the child relates to it instantaneously. Oh yeah. I remember my daughter picking up a food, putting it in the spoon and then feeding it. With her hands. She couldn't pick it up. And put it in the spoon and feeding herself. Because to eat it with your fingers doesn't feel right.
Back to the minion of people, though. We don't say that each person is. Whereas the sheep, the reason why there's one sheep is because there's a million sheep. By a person, we don't say that. It's totally.
By a person, we don't say it at the level of the sheep. We say it at the level of the human being. What is a human being?
Hashem's presence in the world.
Hashem's presence in the world. And when they 10 together, there's a greater presence.
But the point is, with 10, it's one unit. Hashem defines it as this being a
Hashem
unit.
unites them.
Lamashal, let's say you go to the differences, let's say in 770, there's 2 minyanim. You don't say there's 20 people, you say there's 2 minyanim. And in each 10 people become one unit.
That's right, because the minyan is when they join together.
And that makes it one unit.
That's right, when they join together. Whatever happened here? How come my phone decided to go to sleep?
Because it has a non-presence before it.
Baruch?
Is your volume on?
What?
Did you turn the volume all the way down? Is it still down?
He's on live broadcast.
Yeah, yes.
He is.
Is he there?
Yeah.
I
You
don't
got
know, I
shut
told
off.
him I told him it's on.
Maybe it's there.
That's a rough.
I don't see him, he sees us.
Okay.
Is this?
I guess maybe because I'm now exposed to the internet, maybe they're downloading something.
Wi-Fi.
You can download something. Upgrade. Thank you.
We will update the differentiate between the his and the tzis.
Okay. So, the mahus of a sheep is what a sheep is. This sheep and that sheep and that sheep, it's all one mahus. It's exactly the same thinking. Not similar. It's the same one. Because when Hashem created, He created the sheep. And because Hashem created the sheep, that's why there are that many units.
That's why Loshen Kodesh sometimes on many sheep to say.
Loshen Yochid, yeah. Alayla Korna Hatanagia, famous Rashi.
We're, at the end of the day, we're trying to answer the question, what does it mean presence, right?
Yeah. What are presence? Presence is shot that he is to be known as a presence prior to, and not as a result of the fact that I know what he is, what he stands for, what his mahus is. That's not the presence.
It's like bumping into the table and knowing it's something
That's right,
there.
bumping
Saying,
into the table.
What is this?
What is it?
So first you bump into it, that's the presence. And
That's a
then-
presence, right. So we, as I said before, we don't notice the table as a presence. Why? Because we have seichel, and we live at the mahus level. Baruch is calling on the other call.
I can call him back.
I disconnected. I don't know. My phone decided to do something else. Yeah, you're on. I'll put you on the speaker.
Call back in because Akiva's also on the line.
I'll go.
What?
I'll call.
Just calling Akiva?
I'll call in.
Wait a second. I can flash. I can join them together.
Hang up. So you can call back.
Okay. Cool. All right.
I'm hanging up. You call back to conference.
I'll call the conference.
Call the conference. Let me see. Yeah, it must have updated something.
Chutzpah.
Unbelievable. Yeah. Security software verification.
Conference room. Please.
Kislev,
So we know
At the
there's a
tone,
table
please thank
for
you.
site.
You are now
there's
entering the conference room. To exit the conference room, press star star. For help, press star 9.
Okay,
You are participant number 3.
fine.
we know there's a table because of sight. We see it before. That gives.
No. We know it's a table because we relate to the mahus of a table. When you go into a showroom, you don't know it's a table. When you go into a home, you know it's a table.
So you show him it looks like a table.
In showroom, it looks like a table, and you can project. Oh,
For a
if
home,
I
it is a
draw it
table.
in, it could be used as a table.
Most means what it is for itself.
Mahus is what its reality is. Why did we create this? Where did it come from? We spoke about yesterday. Oh, you understand you're here. Yeah, that's right. I wanted to kind of clarify between this. We spoke about yesterday that Avraham Avinu spoke about what is the objective view of Seichel, right? Remember yesterday? Avraham Avinu was going around with asking, Yesh balabayis v'bilazu. And the innocent said, that's infantile. That's like, you just accept everything and just want to, What does it stand for? But why not examine things and break it down into components and see how it works? That's the way our wise men are advising us to think. That's the scientific approach. Abraham Avinu didn't go into that. What are the various powers of the sun and the moon? Balabais, where's the Balabais? And that we say, this is real wisdom. So, please understand the following. Again, I'm going to the table. When you come into the room and you see this structure, as an intelligent person, what's your question? Who created the structure? Who is the master craftsman? What is it made of? How come it stands and doesn't collapse? What makes it stand? What holds it together? What is your question? What is it about? That's the question. That's the intelligent question. What is this about?
I can't hear it all. Is there anyone you can speak a little bit closer to the microphone?
All right, where's the mic, you know?
I think it's
I'm sorry, what all right. Can you hear it better now? Hello? Hello? Doesn't hear me at all.
Yes, that's perfect. Thank you very much.
All right, good.
probably on mute.
Yeah, I hear you.
So what's the question? You see the table and you ask what is it
What
about?
what perplexes a human being in the world? You know, what are you looking? What is this all about? What makes the sun rotate? What's it all about? What's going on? That's the question. And when you look at it and say, something very great is going on. There's a Beis that represents something. It's built for some person. You come into a home and you see, what is this all about? That's the intelligent question. And then you start breaking it down and say, oh, this table, it's no wonder it has 4 legs, and that's what it's done. That's what your question was? This is what you wondered? How the table stands?
Uh-huh.
You basically get to that question when you just give up. You just say,
What?
you just decide, either there is no answer to what it's all about, or I'm not looking for that anymore. It's too hard to figure it out. Whatever it is, or it doesn't make sense to me.
It won't pay the rent.
Manuel. You know how to get out?
Yeah.
So Avraham Avinu did not give up. And he sensed this is real. And I don't care how you camouflage it, how you explain this away. There's something real going on, and that's what I'm on about. You come into this home. You have to be an idiot to say that the picture is hanging there because it's hanging. The clock is hanging. This is hanging. It's no wonder. It's a nail, so it's hanging. No wonder. No miracles. The wall is standing up because it has a foundation. The floor is standing because it has beams. Nothing. No miracles. Where is the human being coming to this? I don't see him.
Cause?
What?
The cause.
What the cause? That's all you see. A human. That's what all intelligence. That's all you see. You see the human element. How you accomplished all of these things? This is. Who cares? Effectively, right?
So why do we get lost?
Don't ask why. Don't ask why you get lost, because you were raised in a lost world, and not only Avraham Avinu was also raised in a lost world, but they didn't make sense even to themselves, Avodah Zarah. But you were raised in a world that really seems to make sense. The Haraya, they can create such wonderful entities. You saying I'm stupid? Look what I did.
So am I correct in saying because we don't look at the component parts, we just look what is it, right? So if we look at the component parts, we
One
think.
second.
I'm trying to understand.
No. Think about it for a moment. You come into a home like this. Let's remember another world. And if you were not prejudiced, you had no experience, what makes you wonder? Why are you questioning Bichlal? Why are you trying to find out? What are you trying to find out? What makes you wonder about it?
About a home. And then, let's say I was raised in a jungle. I don't have any previous experience. I'm coming out now. Each thing here, what is it?
What kind of person lives here?
I would think, why is this all about?
Right. What is this we see? It's of the house.
What is this about? Not asking how this hanging. It's hanging because there's a nail. That's so insignificant. Even how this is work is insignificant. Why was it created? So we explained it many times. Oh, it was created because I wanted to talk to you. No. What's so compelling about it? Where is... We explain that because the human spirit, human neshama, knows no bounds. You'll never say, oh, you understand on the other side of the world, you don't exist. No, you exist and I want to have contact with you. I'm limited to what I can do, but yes, human spirit knows no bounds. So as a result of that, ultimately, we resulted in this. We used to send, Pony Express mail and all that things, and then eventually we upgraded it. Why? Because we own the whole world.
I definitely don't want to stop this, but back to the original question about what is a presence. We said that a human has a significant presence. When we say presence, we say there's something there before I understand what it means. What does it mean to have a significant presence? Presence is insignificant. It's what he is that's significant. No? One presence is more significant than another. I mean, the idea of a presence is am I wrong?
No. Fine.
Thank you.
We pointed out that by a human being, his very presence carries significance. What do you mean by that? He said, "Lo signoi." The lion will also protect its turf. If you enter into its territory, don't take a chance with that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And so we are pointing out the reason the Mitzvah is alive. It's mamish Mitzvah. Doesn't have ownership of this one. He stands there on guard. We human beings, we go a step further and make rules amongst ourselves. You don't touch mine, and I don't touch yours. And we commit ourselves to these rules. Why? Why don't we leave it to its natural state? You protect your property, I'll protect my property.
Because we recognize that that's no way to live.
Because even at the mitzias level, that's what I'm pointing out. We have we create a home. That's a mitzias. But why? Because we want to be able to learn and document and raise a family, not because we protect our turf. That's not enough. That's not what this is all about.
So why is that at a presence level and a TS level, and not at? Why is that? What is it?
Because this is on the practical level. Let me see, it's like, what are you going to do in your home? You said we need. Remember, we said when we were talking about Mamal Kolam and Seder Kolam.
Yeah.
Mamal Kolam. This is the practical reality of the person. It's a practical reality.
The practical reality, I'm just trying to understand it back to the definition of presence being, you know what it is, separate from, it has an existence separate from what it means.
Right, so we explained.
When you start talking about practical realities and things that you can be mislavish in understanding, that sounds to me what it means. That doesn't sound like presence.
No. That's by a human being, this is the presence. It's true that on a lower level it's not. But a human being, this is a presence. If I have a meal and I don't have a place to put my plate down, can I eat it?
Yes. Not in an immense way, but
I can't eat it. I can't eat it. Unless I'm starving mamish, I can't eat it.
Okay, so what's the point of that?
So I'm saying that even the very simple presence of the person already has a significance. A significance on a human level. It's a human presence, not an animalism. There's a difference between the presence of an animal and the presence of a human being.
What would be not the simple presence of a person?
That you stand guard on the door and don't let anybody in.
No, what would be, you're saying even at a simple level he has a significance, so yeah. What would be the deeper level? What would be
the deeper level, that's what the deeper level is like we said, that it makes a difference to me whether I eat at my own table, food that my wife prepared for me, and she served it to me, or I eat in a restaurant. It makes a very big difference to me.
And why is that different than to eat, you put in your hands versus the plate on the table?
Because this has to do with eating, and this has to do with something totally out of the practical arena. You go into a restaurant, food is good, it's comfortable, and the waiter says, "Es Gesundheit." Make sure you leave a nice tip afterwards. You know all of those things.
It's a homeless
So it's not affecting the practical thing. We said the other day, all the Gemara says, "Odom she'inei bayis einei odom."
Hotel, living in a hotel.
The homeless.
Not the homeless. A person living in a hotel, he's got all the money to spend. He's not a man. He's not an odom.
It's not a home.
He doesn't have a place in the world. A human being has a place in reality. That's something else completely. It cannot be translated in any practical sense at all. You know, but I told you, the Rebbe spoke about it, but Howard Hughes died.
A what?
Anybody? Howard Hughes.
How
Yeah,
would
Look
you
at that
know?
Mahoretz over here. Doesn't know
Yeah,
the
no,
hell.
no, no. No, I didn't know the word.
Shame on you.
I remember.
Oh, so Howard Hughes was
I remember when he died.
a phenomenally wealthy person, out of this world. Phenomenally wealthy person. And he lived in hotels. He traveled not twice, 2 nights in a row in the same hotel. And he owned the hotel. Whatever it is, this was not a home. Yet Mishorsim, Yitzim Mishorsim, Basha Mishorsim, he didn't have a life. He was not a human being. He was a wealthy cat.
Okay, that's the deeper. But even in the hotel, the way he eats there, it makes a difference whether he eats on a plate or in his hand.
Yes, because that's
because the presence, just the
that's a
presence
present
of a
self.
human being is
Present of a human being, right? If that's right.
I don't know if I fully understand it, because earlier the Rabbi just said a house is a place to learn. What
That's
happens
on the
with family.
practice. That's on the
Right.
on the lower.
But good. So when we approach a house as a mitzvah, beyond any components, right? So once we say what is it, right? Before dissecting it, what is it? That forces us to say, what is it? What created something without these components? What created this mitzvah? And therefore, you have to refer to something which is also beyond components, meaning a Kadosh Baruch Hu. And it
No, the
creates
human being.
What?
The human being.
A human being, when he creates a phone, he's sort of breaking it into component parts and make this part. So
No. Again, you know what created the phone?
Create a human being.
The human desire, the human perception that he cannot be limited to this area. He has to be able to connect any place in the world.
Okay. Extend that. Therefore,
that's the reality of the phone. The components. This is like building the table.
Right.
Okay, we need a table. So how do you make a table?
right.
But the table concept is a human concept.
Now the phone. So the phone also is human concept, but the purpose of communicating all over the world, that's more of a
The phone itself is a derivative of the human concept.
right.
The human concept is that I want to speak to you even though I don't see you.
Okay.
What's necessary? It's necessary because I cannot be limited to where I am. Why? Because I belong everywhere. And everything belongs to me.
So that's the almost like the so that's the spiritual component here, the it component, if you will.
That is the origin. That is the real spirit behind it.
So when we called to say come to the house, like you said, what is it?
Yeah. What is it about? That's right. What's the spirit that created it? That's what we notice. We notice there is a special spirit in here. This house is not made in order to be able to eat lunch in it.
But okay, so saying so good. So extending that a step further, since we realize that the spirit of the house is that a godly force created it, okay, therefore that mandates from us certain functions. But it first begins by realizing that it's created by something which is indescribable, which can be divided into functions, right? Because once we say it's a spirit, once we say it's a spirit, that follows to say that what created this whole entity, or the spirit, if you will, something which is just a spirit which is not limited. However, by man, saying that a spirit created mandates certain functions. Is that the correct sequence? Because man's functions is connected to the spirit. No, is this wrong? I mean, is that the right sequence?
It's not the right sequence.
Okay.
Although it is true that the functionality is a derivative from the reality.
Right.
Okay. The reason that you eat on a plate, not on the floor, on the table, with a spoon, is because you are a human being. Not because it's convenient. Not because your mommy said, watch out for your shirt, shouldn't get dirty. That's not the reason. Although there is, of course, a practical way to teach you something. This is the way to eat so you won't get dirty. Okay, but that's not the end of it.
Yes, what describes human being in that sense is that he's created by something like a spirit too. HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Yeah, but that, as I said, that he has a sense of self-respect. And the reason he has a sense of self-respect because there is a real entity in the world. That's what we discussed many times.
Right. What gives its real entity in the world? What gives its his reality? In fact, the Eibishter.
Yeah, what I was pointing out before is that we can't start top down.
Oh, don't skip right to the Eibishter. It doesn't work that way.
You're not going to get anything.
So, Ben Cholim that sits by the table by his Seder.
By what?
A Ben Cholim that sits by the table by his Seder is so that's a Ben Cholim's concept of fulfilling what he is. Whereas
it's not our custom normally to sit, but this is illustrating the principle of Acherus. That he is leaning over. Leaning over means that he is relaxed. He's not in an active state, he's in a relaxed state.
So using the mashal, not the mashal, the halacha.
One second. I forgot to say. Listen, Shmuel Graybar is in the hospital.
Really?
Yeah. He is in No. He is right here on the 7th.
Methodist.
In Methodist, room 508. And he would appreciate visitors. Anyone who wants to have his phone number, I will give it to you.
1 second, guys. What's his phone number?
The phone number, just a second. Okay. Okay.